Hi everybody, Mr. C here. How are you today? Okay, I've got a little book that I want to read you. I mean little because it's only small, but it's a great little story, or a big story in here. It's all about a bad mood. And do you know how sometimes you get in a bad mood and you're not really quite sure why? And that's what happens to Bear in this story, to little Bear. Bear's bad mood. It was like any other day in Bear's home. Mum was singing along with the radio, Dad was noisily washing up the dishes. He made lots of bubbles as he clattered the pans around. Bear's two little sisters were in the living room. They were arguing about who had made all the mess. Everything was just the same as usual, except for Bear. He was lying on his bed, feeling very cross. He wasn't sure why exactly. He just didn't feel like doing anything at all today. It had all started when Dad had come into his room early that morning. He was pretending to be an alarm clock and was banging a pan with a spoon and shouting, "Wakey, wakey!" Dad thought it was a really funny joke, but Bear didn't. Then Bear fell over the train set his sister had left next to his bed, and he banged his elbow. At breakfast, the yummy honey cereal packet was empty, and he had to have lumpy porridge instead. Finally, Mum told him that he would have to take his sister to the park that afternoon while she and Dad went shopping. "I'm fed up," groaned Bear, going back to bed and pulling the duvet over his head. Suddenly, the door flew open and the sisters burst in. They were hitting each other with pillows and feathers were flying everywhere. "Go away!" yelled Bear. "Go away!" "What's going on?" said Mum, coming into the room. "Just look at this mess. Go outside, all of you." Bear wandered miserably into the garden. His heart sank when he saw his friends were already there. They came running over to him. "Hello, Bear," said Fox. "What shall we play today?" asked Dog. "Let's have a race on our bikes," suggested Mole. "No, I don't want to," said Bear grumpily. "I'm not in the mood." Bear turned away and strode off down the path. His friends started after him in surprise. This wasn't little Bear. He was usually the first to suggest a game. Bear had now disappeared round the corner of the house. The others set off after him. Bear looked behind him and decided to hide in the shed. He could hear his friends laughing and chattering as he climbed inside a large trunk and pulled down the lid. "They won't find me here," he thought. Moments later the lid was raised and a big wet nose touched Bear's cheek. You can't hide from me," said Dog. "I can smell you easily." Bear jumped out of the trunk. He surprised his friends by running straight for the door and slamming it behind him. He ran down the path, dived through a flower bush and hid in the vegetable patch. Pulling an onion out of the ground, he rubbed it all over himself. "Ha! That will fool them," he thought. "They'll never smell me now." Sitting very still, he closed his eyes. Suddenly, he felt hot breath in his ear, and he opened his eyes to find Fox grinning at him. "I could hear you breathing," said Fox. "Oh no!" shouted Bear as he burst out of the bushes and ran across to the oak tree. The twisted roots of the oak tree held a den where they all played. It was a maze of tunnels, which Bear knew better than anyone. He squeezed through a small gap and was then deep under the tree where the light was dim. It's a bit damp," thought Bear, "but they won't find me here." Just then the ground beneath him started wriggling and Bear found himself moving upwards. As he banged his head on the roof of the den, a twitching nose appeared between his feet. "Hello," said Mole. "I knew you were there. I could feel your heart beating right through the ground. Bear was running out of hiding places. He wiggled out of the tree and ran back to the house. I'll disguise myself so no one will recognize me, he thought. He ran into his sister's room. These are just what I need, growled Bear. Bear crept outside in his disguise and sat on the swing. Everything was quiet. Then he heard muffled snorts and giggles behind him. He turned round to see his friends rolling about with laughter. You do look silly, they howled. Right, snarled Bear, throwing off his hat and glasses. Perhaps I can hide from you. Perhaps I can't hide from you, but I can go somewhere you can't follow. He began climbing the giant oak tree. Bear was quite right. No one else could climb like him. He clambered upwards until he was swaying in the warm breeze amongst the highest branches. Far below, his friends looked up until their necks ached, and Bear looked happily down at them. At last, sighed Bear, shutting his eyes. There is no one here to annoy me. But now Bear had forgotten why he wanted to get away from his friends in the first place. In fact, he'd been so busy running and hiding that he couldn't remember the reason for his bad mood. I think I might go and play after all, he decided. Bear opened his eyes and found it was no longer bright and sunny. A huge dark cloud loomed over the tree, and the breeze was quickly becoming a gusty wind. Oh, thought Bear, I'd better climb down. But the whole tree was swaying back and forth with such force that Bear could not reach the branch below him. Plop! A large drop of water fell on his nose as the first drops of rain pattered down. A few seconds later, Bear was soaked to the skin. He felt very frightened as he dangled helplessly in the storm. Crash! A sudden flash of lightning and the boom of thunder startled Bear. He lost his grip on the branch and began to slither and stumble down the tree towards the ground. Help! He yelled. A great furry paw grabbed him as he fell. Bear found himself cradled in Dad's arms. Bear's friends had fetched his dad when they saw he was stuck in the tree. Dad had climbed halfway up the tree and caught Bear as he fell. Silly boy, said Dad as they clambered down. What were you doing up the tree anyway? Bear's friends were sheltering at the base of the tree, looking worried. Gosh, Bear, I'm glad you're safe, said Mole. We'll see you again soon then. Bye, said Dog. Hey, where are you going? Said Bear as his friends started to leave. Well, you don't want to play, do you? Replied Fox. Yes. No, that is, I didn't. But I do now, muttered Bear. I think he was just in a bad mood, said Dad with a smile. Well, I'm not any more, said Bear. Anyway, look, the sun's coming out. The storm had passed over now, and the rain had stopped. Let's go roller skating, yelled Bear. And Bear and his friends played happily, and it had never felt better. Fantastic. See, sometimes being in a bad mood, you just don't know why, and you don't know what to do, and you do silly things. And in the end, you get yourself out of it, and you get back to your friends, and you have a really good time, and that's what Bear did. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. So it's goodbye from Bear, goodbye from Mr. C, and you take care. Bye bye.